Welcome in to No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. Another week closer to the 2021 NFL season. This week, a look inside team previews once more with the Tennessee Titans, Seattle Seahawks, and Pittsburgh Steelers. The fan favorite of none other than our guest this week, the newest to get that blue check mark on Twitter, host of Hooked on Fantasy podcast, none other than Mr. Luke himself, Luke Sawhook. He runs 6 social media accounts from what we just learned in pregame. So one of them putting out a DFS League of Legends article, which is brand new to me, and I'm the esports guy on the team. So just awesome guy. Also leader of the Quad Squad. Proud to have him on this show. We will hop into it right now. Don't go anywhere. Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zolo. Joining me, as always, Joshua Hudson and Ryan Weiss. But who cares about them? The real guest here is none other than...
It is my time.
Is none other than the leader of the Quad Squad, Luke Sawhook. Luke, how you doing?
Take over the show, Luke. We're out. Bye.
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. Dude, I actually need to, for one of my redraft teams this year, I need to make a Quad Squad team. I need to so bad. I need to sit down, make a list, and draft the team.
There you go.
It'd be amazing. I think it actually would be, on paper, that'd be a good team. You got like Saquon, Najee, Mike Davis, that one picture of him.
I'm saying if AJ Dillon can pull 125 to 145 carries, you're going to be in pretty good shape at running back at least.
There we go. So what wide receivers are on the Quad Squad?
DK Metcalf.
Yeah, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good team right there. Who's quarterback?
Yeah, any receiver that played at Ole Miss.
Who is quarterback?
Cam Newton.
Oh, wow, that's tough. Sure. Luke, you just lost all 16
I don't
games.
want that. I don't want that. I'm saying he might be the QB for the
Take it back, Luke. Take it back.
I don't know, man.
Ben Roethlisberger's thick with 2 C's. He probably has some hams down there.
I don't know if he's on the Quad Squad.
He's on IR of the Quad Squad.
He's on the jelly donut diet. That doesn't build out the quads.
Hey, he's not drinking beer this offseason. I saw that from a beer reporter yesterday. I think I don't know if I liked it. It was on Steelers Depot yesterday. I saw it. It was from one of their beer reporters that said like Ben's in like the best shape of his life or something, and like there was a report that came out that claimed he was drinking beer every day and like just doing whatever the hell. And he is like, no, I'm not drinking beer at all this offseason. I don't know. Classic analysis.
Wow, what a guy. You know, if you only drink seltzer, you can lose like 50 pounds like our friend Josh did. Didn't work out at all. Just stop drinking beer. All the bubbles fizzled away the fat. It was amazing.
Truly lemonades, baby.
Truly lemonade. Truly get at us for a sponsorship. Also, real quick, just to hype me up a little bit, Luke said this intro is nuts.
It was. That was fire. That intro, that video intro. Did you make that or did you get
all Joe?
All me.
Dude, that is nasty. Seriously, that was really good.
Thanks, man. And A-Rob 25. I don't know who this is, so welcome to the show. Water and liquor is all you need.
Oh, that's my boy. That's my boy Austin. What's up?
Oh, well, our boy Austin, welcome to the show. Water and liquor is all you need.
And say no liquor, but I've only drank water for 3 months now, and I am down 45 pounds.
Let's go.
I mean, liquor is mostly water anyway, so
yeah, just a little distilled.
Just a little
distilled.
Distillation.
Get you a little tipsy. Luke doesn't know about liquor. He's too young.
That's right.
Correct.
How did we get where we are right now?
Well, in Mexico, I was gonna try a bunch of stuff. I only got the free drinks at the pool. I kept saying I was going to try beer for a video for Twitter, but I kept forgetting. And that would have been fantastic. Fantastic content. I would have hated it.
Unpopular opinion. Beer is gross. Drink rum.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you, Ryan.
Unpopular opinion. Beer and rum are gross. Drink fruity drinks.
I'm with Joe on this one so far.
Yeah. See, all right. Bye, Josh. Bye, Ryan. Thanks for coming on this week. I'm going to talk Titans. I'm going to talk Titans, Seahawks, Steelers with Luke here. No, we're going to start with the Titans here.
Yeah.
Man, I want to find the good in teams. No, where's the fun in that? Why give teams any props for the shit that they built? And we just tear them down. Okay.
What kind of mentality is that, bro?
What kind of mentality is that?
Who wants to listen to a podcast with the host?
These are the three teams that Joe loves to dig into. The three most, I would say, how do I want to put this? The three teams that tend to be the most successful that Joe loves to dig into is this show. It just happened they fell this way.
I mean, I'll listen. I'll just listen. Go ahead, Joe. Tear him up.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll start with the Tennessee Titans, who completely neglected the defensive side of the football this season. What?
He's an IDP guy, Luke, so he cares about defense.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Go ahead.
Big IDP. All right.
I'm an IDP champion.
Thank you, Ryan.
1/14 of the credit. 1/14 of the credit. Also,
why only 1/14?
Because I helped him in 1 week.
Okay. All right.
Also, Luke, I like your friend. Honestly, let's get him on the show. Let's get him on the
He's
show.
great.
All right. So upsides here for the Tennessee Titans. Ryan, you have Ryan Tannehill, not playing name favorites at all there.
Ryan sticks together.
Josh, you have Anthony Ferkser. Did you mean to did you have a stroke and accidentally type Anthony Ferkser in that spot, or
no? I did it on purpose.
Oh, did it on purpose. Okay, cool.
It's very cheap. Basically.
You both successfully put Julio Jones as your downside, so congratulations for getting
Which,
one
if
right.
I'm not mistaken, Julio's actually been a downside twice this offseason for two different teams, now that I think about it.
Yes. Epic downside.
Are we just saying for the upside downside things? I'm not too sure exactly how these work. So are these players really high upside on the team and players with a lot of
based on average draft position and expectations?
Okay, gotcha. That's what I figured. I was making sure.
Yep. Trust fall is pretty self-explanatory. Who you trust the most, and who wouldn't trust the quads of Derrick Henry?
Man, that guy's a legend.
Legend in the quad community.
Oh yeah.
And the rookie to watch, Des Fitzpatrick, by default.
Yeah, no choice there.
Joe's sleeper, by default, is Josh Reynolds.
Yeah,
and
Berkshire your sleeper too, if you wanted, I guess.
Yeah, so I try not to repeat. I try to keep them separate. Also, don't draft Josh Reynolds. He's bad at the game of football. So, but he's the only person that can be considered a sleeper. So,
what? Maybe Darrington Evans, if you're on that train. People on Twitter love him. He's a man.
Yeah. Let's go. Darrington Evans going to take all the carries away from Derrick Henry. I am so excited.
He's going to steal Derrick Henry's job.
Dude, I'm so excited. I'm going to draft Darrington Evans and Cole Kmet on both of my teams and run the table. That's what I'm excited for.
Are you a Cole Kmet hater too?
Am I a Cole Kmet hater? Yes. Are you kidding me?
I didn't know.
Oh my God, Luke.
Joe's the downside of this show.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
yes.
It seems like he's like the stormy clouds.
He's the negative Nancy.
Sunshine, and then Josh is like the dad.
That's what makes it interesting.
No, Ryan's the dad.
I'm the dad.
Ryan's the dad.
Oh, Ryan's the dad.
I put a lot of time into this dad mustache. Don't take it.
It is pretty magnificent.
Josh is the creepy uncle that we just have to invite to parties because he's related. And then my IDP is Jeffrey Simmons. I don't like Kevin Byard. I really think he's very overrated. And the rest of their defense is garbage. So congratulations, Jeffrey Simmons. You made it on the list. I do like Jeffrey Simmons. He's just not a starter on your team. Unless you're in a league that starts like 3 defensive tackles or even 2 defensive tackles because he is listed as a DT. He's not a starter, but he's a great backup guy if he gets, if he has a great matchup, which he plays Jacksonville twice a year, and Houston twice a year, so he'll have 4 good matchups for you that you might be able to slide him into.
There you go.
All right, Luke, you picked Derrick Henry and AJ Brown as your 2 guys to watch.
I did for 2 different reasons. So Derrick Henry, I think he is as solid as it comes. He is rock solid in my rankings. I think he's my RB3 or 4 this year. I love Derrick Henry. I just think that he is – I try to avoid risk early on in my fantasy football drafts, and I think that Derrick Henry has about as a carved-out role as it comes for fantasy football. I think we're going to see him, dominate the load of the running game for Tennessee this season once again. But the thing to watch for him is how involved he is in the offense with the addition of Julio Jones. I do think that the offense is still going to lean more towards a run-first, efficient passing attack and not a pass-heavy with a balanced running game. But the addition of Julio Jones with A.J. Brown is nothing to sneeze at, and I do think it is possible we see an uptick in passing opportunities opposed to the rushing in Tennessee. So it is quite possible that early on we could see Derrick Henry take a slight hit in his rushing totals, and if that's the case, I would be looking to trade him early if that happens. just because people would still like to get him early. So maybe you could like get out early is what I'm saying. I'm just keeping an eye on him early on in the season. And then my second one is A.J. Brown. Just because, I mean, I love A.J. Brown. He's extremely talented. I think he is the future, like, dominant wide receiver one in the NFL for a long, long time. But the addition of Julio Jones alongside him really puts a lot of questions into his upside for this season for me. And I'm just really curious as the target share amounts go to A.J. Brown and Julio Jones and what that relationship looks like early on in the season.
Well, Julio's hamstrings magically healed since he went to Tennessee. So, 150 targets minimum for Julio Jones.
Absolutely.
If Fantasy Twitter had their word in it.
Absolutely. Just send them all to Julio.
Send them all to Julio. Right. Yep, all to Julio. Ryan and Josh, I'll let you chime in on a couple of his points, whoever wants to go. Well, it looks like Josh is the gentleman. Go ahead, Ryan.
The one thing you hit on, I do think they're going to throw the ball more. I was looking at their total play calls, and so last year they definitely leaned run, and we expect them to lean run. But what's funny is if you go back to 2019, another huge Derrick Henry year, it's not much, but they were more of a 50-50 team. They also ran a ton fewer plays than what they ran last year. I'm expecting the same pace of offense, but I think they are going to lean pass. I think Julio Jones coming in signaled that, and I think there's still going to be plenty for Henry. I'm not a Henry hater. I'm not even a Julio hater. I do agree he's an injury risk, but all in all, it's all roses for me. Ryan Tannehill is my QB4, mainly because Tannehill,
that is high.
Tannehill provides good rushing upside. He now has two solid receivers. He doesn't even need Julio Jones to score touchdowns, which we all know Julio Jones doesn't score touchdowns. He needs someone to catch the ball when it's thrown to him and get big yards. I think that's where it's going to be interesting is the yardage that Julio brings to the table. But another thing Julio brings to the table is going to be offensive pass interference calls down near the end zone, which are going to lead to Derrick Henry touchdowns too. So
I didn't think about that. I do have a question though about your ranking of Tannehill that high. Yeah. Who do you have him ranked over? Because that top five group is pretty elite.
So very simply, Kyler Murray is my one. I think his rushing upside tears him to the top. Patrick Mahomes is my two. Josh Allen's my three, and then Ryan Tannehill. So I have him. The big names I have him ahead of are Lamar, Dak, and Russell Wilson, who we'll talk about later.
Dak over Tannehill all day for me personally. He's my QB3 this season.
Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying they're both on the board. You should reach for Tannehill. Part of Tannehill's upside is the fact that he's not going off the board till the QB11. So you can wait and get Tannehill versus having to take Dak in the 5th round.
No, I love Tannehill. I think he's my QB7 or 8. I have him higher than most, I would say. But 4 is the highest I've seen him. So, Ryan, I'm hoping that works out for you, sir.
Me as well.
Yeah, Tannehill is going to be kind of in my 7-8 range too. I still have Green Bay, Buffalo, Kansas City, and Tampa left to stat out. So there's still some pretty good quarterbacks on those teams. But right now I have Tannehill
literally all of them.
Right. So yeah, I mean all 4 of those quarterbacks could possibly end up finishing. Yeah. Because I have Tannehill as my QB5 minus those 4 teams. So I think he'll probably slot in in that 7-8 range, I think. But for me, and again, I agree with the upside on Tannehill, but I think when you're really looking like upside pop, like Ferkser's going is like tight end 20 something. And again, we're talking about an uptick in targets. There's some value there in that distribution because I don't think all of it's going strictly to A.J. Brown, all of it going strictly to Julio Jones. We know it's not going to Derrick Henry. That much we do know. But one thing I was looking at. Yeah, right. One thing I did notice when I was going through and looking at the projections and looking at the history of Todd Downing, who's now the new offensive coordinator, one thing that he did in his one stop in Oakland when he was calling plays with the Raiders, he threw to the running backs quite a bit. But it was very distributed out. Like it wasn't just to Marshawn Lynch.
It's Darrington Evans season.
Could very well be. I wouldn't say that he's going to, again, I don't think he's going to get all of them too, because look at, when you look at Jerry McNichols, his history at Boise State, he caught a lot of passes too. Took him a few years to really latch on to a team here in the NFL, but it looks like he has with Tennessee. So I don't think, what I think is ultimately going to happen, you're going to see anywhere between 30 and 40 targets for Evans and McNichols both. And then you're going to see probably like 28 to 32 or so for Derrick Henry, because that just seems to be the MO there. But again, that still leaves plenty of piece of the pie for Ferkser, still leaves plenty pieces of the pie for Julio Jones as well as A.J. Brown. And the thing with A.J. Brown is it's all about efficiency. I mean, you talk about just the total number of touches that he has garnered through his first 2 years in this league. He has 125 touches the last 2 years and a 16% efficiency at scoring touchdowns. Out of 125 touches, 20 touchdowns. You don't see that among wide receivers in the NFL right now. That's just astronomical, his efficiency.
He has an insane take it to the house ability.
Yeah, and we all thought, like, all right, that efficiency's got to go down, right? His yards per reception did go down last year from like the 20 or whatever it was his rookie year down to 15.1. But I can't imagine that 15.1 doesn't go up when you have a Hall of Fame talent like Julio Jones next to you. So he's still going to keep the targets and the receiving yards.
And what I like about him is with those high YPR, he still catches over the 66 or over 60% of the balls thrown his way, and you don't see that a lot with guys with high yards per reception. You can typically see those drop into the 55 range if he keeps catching 60% of the balls thrown his way, and now he can't necessarily have a safety over the top. You could see everything go up for him.
So this is interesting because I didn't know where A.J. Brown actually was in ADP according to Fantasy Pros. And I've heard a lot of people put A.J. Brown as their legitimate wide receiver 1.
He's my wide receiver 1 in standard, not in PPR.
In standard.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I said that too, and he said that, Luke. Yeah.
Ryan, you're insane, but I love you so much.
What a backhanded compliment that was. This is interesting. So A.J. Brown is wide receiver 7 right now in ADP on Fantasy Pros.
What do I have in my rankings?
I think you said you have him at 3, but we're gonna play the game show of Club Fantasy. Would you rather? Luke, you've never heard of this game before. I'm pretty positive.
No,
Would
never
you
have.
rather? Brand new game invented on the show called Would You Rather. So this is gonna be obviously. Who do you want as your first receiver? That's what it is.
My wide receiver 1. Cool.
Wide receiver 1.
Your wide receiver 1. And I'm gonna do the 6 names ahead of AJ Brown and the 1 name after him.
All right.
Because I think after that it's
For what it's worth, AJ Brown is my wide receiver 9 in PPR rankings.
Wow.
All right, well here we go.
You're insane, but I love you, Luke.
So here we go. We'll start at wide receiver 1, work our way down to 6, and then jump AJ Brown at 7 and talk about number 8.
Cool. Go ahead.
All right. I don't want an explanation. I just want an answer. Who would you rather have as your wide receiver 1, AJ Brown or Tyreek Hill? Luke.
Tyreek Hill.
Josh.
Yeah, I haven't statted Tyreek, but yeah, I think it would lean Tyreek at that point.
Ryan.
Tyreek.
AJ Brown. AJ Brown or Devontae Adams?
Devontae Adams, for sure.
Josh.
Adams, and I don't care who his quarterback is.
Ooh.
Ryan.
Brown, and I don't care who Adams' quarterback is.
Okay, that's insane. So if Aaron Rodgers was there, you would rather have AJ Brown than Devontae Adams?
By a lot.
Why?
Devontae Adams.
It's less passing volume, and Julio Jones is not next to him.
Well, Julio Jones being next to AJ Brown actually helps AJ Brown.
I disagree.
Oh, 100% helps AJ. AJ Brown was going to get double teamed this entire season. Now he's going to get one-on-one coverage.
That's fair. I don't know. I just don't think the volume will be there enough to surpass a guy like Devontae.
That's fair.
I think people are forgetting about how hard touchdown regression is going to hit Green Bay. We were all so keen on touchdown regression hitting the Chiefs 2 years ago, and it happened. It's about to smash Green Bay with a hammer. So
Yeah.
I think it'll smash Green Bay with a hammer, but I mean, I understand that Adams isn't going to score 18 touchdowns again, but I think it's 3 of the last 4 seasons he's had over 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was going to say
he's still going to score a ton of touchdowns. It's going to regress for everybody else.
Yeah, he's a touchdown machine. He always has been. We all thought Aaron Jones was going to have touchdown regression too last season, and he did not. But I mean, Rodgers is going to be the one who's going to have touchdown regression though for sure. So
he's going to have 0 sitting on the bench. So
yeah, and Josh, to your point, you said you'd rather have Adams, no matter who the quarterback is. If Adams did not have Aaron Rodgers, I would rather have AJ Brown. If Devontae, Devontae right now, assuming Aaron Rodgers is playing, is my wide receiver 1 for the season. If Rodgers does not play, I would bump him down to wide receiver 10.
I don't know if I have the Rodgers risk baked in for me. I have Adams at 5. He's not way behind Brown. He's literally 3 fantasy points behind Brown, but I'd rather have Brown.
Wow, Ryan, the audacity of you to choose AJ.
Way to go, Ryan. 3 fantasy points.
God.
Ridiculous.
I have Adams about 13 fantasy points above AJ Brown in my projection.
So it's all close.
13. Let's go. Keep it rolling, Joe.
All right. AJ Brown or Stephon Diggs? Luke.
Diggs by far for me.
Josh.
Yeah, that's another one I haven't statted out yet, but I have to think it would be Diggs.
Ryan.
Diggs is my wide receiver 1.
Diggs.
I like that.
AJ Brown or DeAndre Hopkins? Luke.
Hopkins.
Josh.
Hopkins, but it is close.
It's
Ryan.
not.
Hopkins is my wide receiver 2.
Yeah, I would go Hopkins as well. I don't know why Cliff Kingsbury scares me, and I feel like there's gonna be like 5 games where DeAndre Hopkins just doesn't get the ball. The fucking nut ass of a brain.
Well, according to Ryan, it'll be those are the AJ Green weeks.
Right.
Yeah. Luke,
Oh no, Ryan, you're in on AJ Green.
Oh my gosh, how are you not?
I am all in on AJ Green.
Washed.
Oh my God, Luke, get out of here. Get out. Luke, you are officially uninvited from future shows. My goodness.
Luke, I got your back, buddy. I'm off the AJ Green train.
Okay.
Hey, if
Luke,
fantasy footballers who are Cardinals fans think he's washed, he's washed. That's my assessment.
Luke,
They're Cardinals.
being on Josh's train is the wrong train to be on every single time.
If the Cardinals offense fails, which is funny because I know Joe is with me with AJ Green, but if the Cardinals offense fails, which I'm thinking Joe would say is likely to happen, my fantasy teams are going to be a wreck because I have Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, and AJ Green on just about every. Now I don't plan on having to use AJ Green, but
I love Kyler and Hopkins. I would much rather roster what's his name, the rookie Rondale. I would much rather have Rondale Moore than AJ Green on my fantasy team this season.
You are smoking.
I don't know about
dude.
that. I think gun to my head, I'd probably take AJ Green over Rondale Moore, but
I'd rather have Rondale Moore.
I wouldn't have either of them, honestly.
All right. Well, it's going to be hilarious when AJ Green is a top 36 wide receiver this season. It's going to be
Go for it.
It's going to be
and it'll be depressing when he only plays 6 games.
And he's still a top 36.
He's still a top 36.
Think about how good those 6 games were.
Oh, wow. Okay. AJ Brown or DK Metcalf? Luke.
Ooh, let me check my ring. AJ Brown.
Josh.
I would prefer the consistency of AJ Brown, but I do have DK Metcalf higher in my rankings.
Ryan.
I'll take
AJ Brown.
Yeah, AJ Brown there. AJ Brown or Calvin Ridley? Luke.
Ridley by far. He's my wide receiver 3.
Wow. Josh.
Ridley by far. He's my wide receiver 1 as of now.
Ryan.
AJ Brown.
I'm impartial.
Ryan.
I like Calvin Ridley.
How dare you?
Calvin Ridley carried me in a couple leagues last year, so I'm gonna give the nod to Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
I
like him too.
Yeah, I love.
If I could have both, I would choose both.
Correct.
Right, so all of those receivers.
Honestly, you probably couldn't draft.
Yeah, I was gonna say it actually might work out.
Let me. Joe, do you have any more? Or are you done with that game?
I have one more.
Okay, I'll say what I'm gonna say after. Go ahead.
So all those receivers I just mentioned were being drafted on average above AJ Brown. This is the only guy being drafted after him. Well, obviously there's plenty of guys, but the only guy that we're going to talk about. AJ Brown or Justin Jefferson? Luke.
I knew that was going to be your next one.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson for me. I'm not even a huge Jefferson guy, but I'd rather have Justin Jefferson.
Josh.
I have Jefferson 3.5 points higher in my projections.
Okay.
So there's that.
Okay, Ryan.
AJ Brown.
Shocker. So one guy I have above AJ Brown right now in my rankings. I don't think any of you will. I'm big on him this season.
Well, I can guarantee I don't, but let's hear.
I probably do if it is who I think it is, Luke. But go ahead.
Well, I don't know, Josh, but we'll find out. I have Terry McLaurin higher than AJ Brown this season.
Ooh, that's
spicy. I love Terry. I think that Fitzmagic is just going to unlock him this year. I'm calling a big breakout for him. He's my wide receiver 6.
I was hoping you would say Keenan Allen.
I played that game last year. While I still adore everything about Terry McLaurin and will have him on many fantasy teams if the ADP starts dropping. I did a big article for Football Guys on McLaurin, and I've scared myself off of Terry McLaurin.
Scare yourself back in.
Well, at wide receiver 12 ADP, I'm scared off. I think it's an overpay.
Frighten yourself the other way.
Yeah.
The one receiver you didn't mention, Joe, that I have above AJ Brown is Michael Thomas.
I also have him above Michael Thomas.
Garbage.
By one spot. He's my wide receiver 8, Browns 8, wide receiver 9.
Garbage.
I need to right now until I know who the quarterback is. I statted the Saints out as if Jameis was the quarterback, but I was still tentative. If they were to come out and be like Jameis is the quarterback, I think he's not going to jump to AJ Brown. Let me be clear, but I would like Thomas better than what I like him right now.
He's still a target hog, no matter how you slice it.
So, I still love
he's probably not going to top AJ Brown in touchdowns, but he's going to have more receptions, and he could very well have more yards. The way that I statted him, I gave Jameis 10 starts and Taysom Hill 7. I figured split it down the line and see what happens.
You still have Thomas above Brown?
Yep.
Again, Luke.
I mean, at the end of the day, outside of Kamara, who the fuck are they throwing to? Let's be real.
Adam Troutman.
Again, Luke. Josh's train is the wrong train to be on. Just by that statement alone.
Bro,
I say he said he has MT above too. So.
Yeah, who said I'm on Josh's train? What if Josh is on my train?
But hold on. If Luke is thinking Jameis Winston's the full starter,
I hope
story.
I have a bet on Twitter that I'll eat blazing wings on a live
All
stream.
I know is Sean Payton wants to make Taysom Hill a thing.
Yeah,
I know.
Swear to God, if you're watching, don't do it. Don't do it, Sean.
I get every day. I basically give Taysom Hill one more start because I'm like, all right, this is we should already know.
You're gonna run out of starts to give him then.
Taysom Hill's gonna end this offseason with 63 starts at the QB1 for sure. So,
dude, listen, I just think that I really am a Jameis Winston apologist.
Oh, I am as well.
You don't throw it for that many touchdowns and lead the NFL in passing yards on accident. Sure, he threw a ton of interceptions, but cut those down in like half. He's a freaking good NFL quarterback.
While I do enjoy Jameis, I will say Bruce Arians has way more to do with that than anything else because he just did it again with 48-year-old Tom Brady. So
that's fair. I just think that Jameis Winston deserves another shot to be a starter quarterback because I think he has the talent.
Completely agree.
Good.
Completely agree.
And I understand that Taysom can do a lot of things for the Saints offense that Jameis couldn't as far as gadgety and running kind of plays. But if I'm in a playoff game and I want a quarterback, I want Jameis Winston. I want the guy who can drive the ball down the field.
The Saints made that decision. They ran that trick play for Jameis and scored that touchdown in a playoff game.
And he drilled the throw. I just think that Jameis deserves another shot. I wanted the Steelers to get him really bad, actually.
I wonder if it's a thing where like Sean Payton has said too much about how much he loves Taysom Hill, and now he feels like he has to validate himself. Because these egos on these coaches, it would be foolish for him to back off. And I say foolish. I don't think it would be. It would be the right move. But for him to save face, it could be that. So
Sean Payton's the least egotistical head coach in the NFL. Come on now.
Right.
Yeah.
God.
Right. Okay, we probably should keep moving on here, boys.
Yeah.
Matchup. We spent half an hour on the Titans.
All right, we're gonna spend.
What's your heart out, Luke?
Let's do it. Dude.
When do you need off of here?
I don't know.
Okay.
Never really.
Let's keep moving.
Let's keep moving. Okay, we're gonna spend like 10 seconds on the Seahawks here. Legitimately, we're gonna spend like 10 seconds on this team.
Are you just gonna cut real quick?
Yeah, just cut them up. Upside, Ryan, you have Chris Carson. Josh, you have Gerald Everett. Damn, I wonder how I started the show with Josh. I really wonder how I started the show.
Yeah, it's all about ADP, man.
What I found interesting is how similar these two teams are, the Titans and the Seahawks, because it's the rookie wide receiver having to climb the depth chart. It's the sleeper tight end. It's a lot of the same stuff. But anyway, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. Downside, you both have DK Metcalf. That's just straight ADP.
Yeah.
Trust fall, Ryan, you have Russell Wilson. Josh, you have Chris Carson. Rookie to watch, you both have Dwayne Eskridge. My sleeper, don't draft him. It's Freddie Swain. He may pull like one or two David Moore type games. So if you can guess those David Moore type games, congratulations.
There you go. Definitely a best ball or a DFS type play. I would say.
Yeah, a best ball kind of guy.
Yeah,
I don't even know that he's a best ball guy. Like I've done so many best ball drafts, and he has not been on my radar one time.
Well,
so
I like what Josh said. DFS, if there's a really good matchup,
yes,
DFS, I like that. And my IDP, see, I always tell everyone I don't want to repeat guys year after year. Bobby Wagner will be repeated.
Hard not to repeat with Wagner.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner will be repeated until the day he decides to hang him up, because Bobby Wagner is the best thing that the Seahawks have ever done. Not even close.
Is he still killing it for IDP?
Yes, he is still a top 10 linebacker.
Yeah, him, KJ Wright's still up there too. I've been doing a lot of research because I'm in an IDP draft right now. But surprisingly, and Joe, I know you like him as well. Jamal Adams in the right scoring, if you have to start a DB, is a beast. So
smokes. If you're
Jamal Adams,
if you're sack heavy with Jamal Adams,
because he's not getting any interceptions.
No, he's not getting any interceptions.
It's so weird how poor of a coverage DB he is.
He's a sellout. He just wants the big hit, the big play. So
yeah, perfect for Seattle.
What a sellout!
Yeah, God makes all that.
Not
money.
that kind of sellout. He sells out on me.
No, but it's a good point, Ryan. Jamal Adams is good as well.
But I'm never gonna see if it's IDP. You mentioned Bobby Wagner.
But Bobby Wagner will forever reign supreme.
I agree.
And that Seahawks defense will probably go down as the best Seattle Seahawks defensive player of all time, if he isn't already. In all honesty, Luke, your two players were Dwayne Eskridge and Tyler Lockett, so I'm just going to let you talk about them, maybe rip apart a couple of things we've said, and then we'll move on to the Steelers.
Let's do it. So first up, actually, I'm going to do Tyler Lockett first. So Tyler Lockett interests me a lot this season. I think he's really safe, but at the same time, I'm keeping an eye on him and how he performs in this new offense because they do have a new offense. And I wrote an article about Dwayne Eskridge for Fantasy Pros News Desk about a month or two ago, and they said that their new offense is looking to be a lot like the Rams, and that's why they drafted Dwayne Eskridge because they want to keep 3 wide receivers on the field a lot. And that just really fascinates me with how the offense is going to move with the dynamic with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and now Dwayne Eskridge. So I'm keeping my eye on Tyler Lockett and seeing just like if his role changes or if it's the Tyler Lockett of past. I'm just keeping an eye on him in like the first 2 or 3 weeks, seeing if anything changes there. And then Dwayne Eskridge, I honestly think that Dwayne Eskridge is one of my more favorite rookie sleepers these days. Just because, like I said, I think he's going to be on the field a ton. And I feel like he has a really fun skill set that the Seahawks can mess with. And I feel like he might get some good old-fashioned manufactured touches. So I think he might be a really nice waiver wire play in the season if things start going well. So I'm keeping an eye on him as well.
Ryan, Josh, anything?
I feel like the hate on Tyler Lockett's gotten a little bit too much. At this point, he's fallen all the way to wide receiver 21. I understand there's consistency issues, but if I can play Tyler Lockett as my wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3 in 10-team leagues, I'm A-okay with that.
You easily can get him at 3, I think.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the big difference between this year and last year is that Metcalf and Lockett were going like back-to-back because we just all kind of felt that they were going to be that way, and ultimately that's really where they finished. But it's all about consistency. I mean, Tyler Lockett is not consistent. Like, you're starting him, and he's scoring less than 10 points every freaking week. But the reason you're still starting him is because that 30, 40, 50-point blow-up is coming. You just don't know when.
Yeah.
So that's really why I tend to fade Tyler Lockett. It's not because I don't like him as a player. I do.
Yeah.
But, again, it's just –
that's a lot easier to stomach as your wide receiver 2 than it was as your wide receiver.
Oh, absolutely. But, I mean, he's still going as your wide receiver 2 last year.
Yeah,
I mean, this year to me,
you just hit it on the head, though. Luke said best ball. That's where you get all of the
Lockett is all about best ball.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. I'd be drafting Lockett very early in best ball if I played.
Oh, yeah, same. He's a great wide receiver, too, to have in best ball. Just you can just stack all those late guys to pair with him.
To be honest, if I can get Kelsey in the first round and then go running back with my next 2 to 3 picks and get Lockett as my 1 in best ball, I'm good with it because then I'll just build a roster of 7 to 8 wide receivers and I'm going to get those big Lockett games to be able to protect it on the back.
On any of my pods, I haven't really got to break down my draft strategy, I guess, this season yet, but I'm really liking heavy running back and or heavy tight end and then heavy running back early and then pounding wide receivers in the middle rounds. Because, dude, you can get 3 like fringe RB1s or like top 15 running backs in the first 3 rounds. Like, it's nasty. Like, I've had a draft where I got like McCaffrey, Najee, and like a guy like Cam Akers or something like that. I mean, that was pretty lucky, but like examples like that have happened where you can just get off to a disgusting start. I'm doing that all day long this year.
I'll back up Luke's claim because I did that last year. I drafted Dalvin Cook, Josh Jacobs, and Miles Sanders 1, 2, 3. Ended up with Robert Woods, DK Metcalf, and Cortland Sutton, I think.
Dude.
Well, I know we're not gonna talk
Kyler
much about
Murray.
Okay, we're not going to talk much about him, but Chris Carson going as running back 21 is robbery.
Absurd.
Amazing.
Absurd.
And that's why he's my trust fall.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say he's the reason you can take Travis Kelce in round 1, Darren Waller or George Kittle in round 2, because you can pass on a a stud running back there and then still get a stud running back 2 rounds later in Carson. He makes up that gap that is going to let you get one of the 3 tight ends. So,
Josh, in all honesty, you could put Chris Carson as your upside at that point.
No, I absolutely could. Yeah, but I mean, the fact of the matter is he still misses games.
No,
and so it's hard to say, yeah, this guy is going to be a top 12 this year. And that's where I don't see the upside because he's not healthy all the time. He's always missing games, which again, I get it's the running back position. It's a very volatile position. So that's why I trust him to be exactly what he is. He is an upside RB2 with like low RB1 potential. It's just, he doesn't regularly hit that. And that's why he's going where he's going consistently.
Sure.
And for me, I have zero issue taking him at that spot because I know exactly what I'm getting.
I like
Love it. Easy.
I'm with it.
Like I said, not even 10 minutes on the Seahawks because they're a pretty straightforward team.
Do a timeout. Can we please
Yo, Chris, that's what's up, man.
Chris, I love you. You're on the screen right now.
Luke, with verification comes growing a mustache. If not possible, we'll give you your check mark.
I actually thought for Twitter I should do a no shave November for the first time in my life and just see what happens and post a picture every day to Twitter. I feel like just people.
I'm on it.
You got to just do the mustache, the Movember. And I feel
like my girlfriend might skin me if I did just the mustache.
Look. She's gonna love it, and here's the promise I'll make.
No, she's not.
Your
Luke.
wife doesn't even love it, right?
Here's the promise I'll make you. We are not doing on-show guests during the season this year. If you grow a mustache, you can be on our Wednesday show and my Friday show in the last week of November. All that publicity.
Don't even know.
Do it.
I'm good. I'm gonna do the no shave November thing though. I don't know about just the mustache, but we'll see.
We call that being a lazy dude when you get to me and Josh's age.
Now I don't want to hate, but Luke, when's the last time you shaved? Just
yesterday.
A question.
Okay.
All right, good. You look like baby face, so I just want to make sure. Like,
I shaved yesterday. I do grow facial hair. I just
okay.
It's not like a ton of it. Like I do have like the weird like patch like right here. There's like I can grow some nasty mutton chops.
There you go.
Gross.
Yeah. What if I went with mutton?
Life tip: just keep shaving it. The more you shave it, the fuller it starts to grow in. Boom.
Well, there you go. There you go. Right.
I'm the dad of the show.
Thank you, Dad.
Interesting.
Chris, if you're still here, keep an eye out for November, then, sir.
Yes, sir. I also just want to point out to those who are throwing shade or were upset that Luke got verified, you fuckers, did you not see that Twitter put out something that anyone can get verified now? You just have to apply?
Let's not go that part because it's not like Luke also doesn't hustle.
Yeah, he doesn't hustle his ass off. But like,
I understand. Okay, like
he deserves it.
Who are more? There are a ton of people more deserving. I did fill out the application though, and I got
absolutely, yeah.
That's what, you know what, Luke. I don't even want to get into this because I defended you on Twitter before, and I've shut down some of the haters in DMs. But what I do want to get into is this: everybody who throws out the more deserving and likes to throw out the list of GOAT names, and they are great people, great names. We don't know if they filled out the application, so miss me with the bullshit. True. You don't even know what they're asking for. So let's just move on because it's a stupid topic. But congratulations on the blue.
And it's just, and here's the thing: it's just like filling out a resume, right? You have to fill out the resume to beat the bots. It's no different with the Twitter verification process.
True. Exactly. True.
I got to say, our team, the Bismarck Larks, applied for Twitter verification on Twitter and got denied. So I'd like to
I can't even get the Dynasty Nerds account verified. We have 29,000 followers.
I got denied, but I think it's because I applied too early. One of my articles was with the Ballers and not with Football Guys, and they want your articles to be from the same source, I believe. But it could just be that I'm not as cool as Luke, and I'm okay with that.
No, the reason I got verified, I've been telling people this because I want to try to help people get verified if I can, because all about helping out the homies. I do stuff with the Fantasy Pros news desk, which is completely free, but I fucking love doing it because it's awesome, and I'm just a football nerd, and I love doing the stuff for the big publications and getting out breaking news. And I guess they're big enough because I did the same thing, and so did at Kanban NFL Connor. He did the same thing. He just got verified, I think, this morning, and it was the same method. You go in, apply as a journalist. The Fantasy Pros news desk articles, we just use those 3 links, and then the Fantasy Pros website thing with our name on it to verify who we were, and it worked. So that might be the secret sauce if anyone does the Fantasy Pros news desk. But, yeah, I mean, hey, We got a little lucky out here in the streets.
I can't apply for 11 more days, but I'll figure it out.
Is it? Did they show you up for like 2 weeks now, or like a month?
30 days. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I thought it was a week.
You know what it is, Luke? You know what it is?
Huh?
He has a mustache. That's why
I was
going to
say
denied,
that should have been instant verification. They should have been like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Mustache. You should have had this check mark a long time ago." And then I'm like, "You're damn right. I should have Twitter." I don't know who I'm talking to at this point, but you're damn right. I should.
Ryan or no? What's the name? Jack.
There we go. Yeah, and look at that beard. He should want me to be verified. We could be best friends.
Okay, they could be. They could be.
Yeah. Okay. He's really weird, but he's rich, so I'll be his best friend.
Wow, that's not shallow.
I really don't think Mark Zuckerberg is human, by the way. Just on another little side rant.
I'm with that.
So strange.
Yeah. All right. Now on to Luke's Pittsburgh Steelers. Luke,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for everything I say about this team.
Come on, let me get a terrible towel real quick.
Yeah.
There you go. I love it.
I mean, I'm so happy they call it the terrible towel strictly because the team is terrible.
I was gonna say Luke has no idea what he's in for. Joe
Luke, I don't think
Joe
you
might
know.
be the biggest Steelers hater who is not also a Browns fan that I know.
God, yeah, terrible.
baby.
Yeah,
Let's go.
the terrible team right there.
Around
Okay.
me.
You know,
What team are you a fan of, Joe?
the Patriots.
Oh, let's not get this
Dude, you're 23 years old or 22. How old are you?
I'll be 23 in a month.
I better get the bell ready.
Spoiled your entire life.
Hey, I'm just glad I'm not part of it this time, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna hate your life, Joe. You're gonna hate your life for the next decade. How's that feel?
You know, I'm not gonna hate it because I get to shit on every team in the NFL weekly.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think
Oh, yeah,
Cowboys fans hate their life, and they're still living off of championships from 15 years ago.
No, Cowboys fans hate their life.
That's true.
Or 25 years ago. My bad.
That's a fact. If you saw Casey Kasem's face on our draft show, she hated
That was
her
bad.
life when they chose Micah Parsons. She hated it.
It shouldn't have been because Micah Parsons is a great pick.
It's great, but
Who was on the board there that the Cowboys wanted?
any receiver or
a
other
corner.
living, breathing.
It was the
human
corners
being.
that everybody wanted them
Oh
to take.
yeah. Everyone thought they were gonna get.
Yeah, but they all went before.
They all went before.
Everybody traded up
I
ahead.
remember
also-
that. That was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, any living, breathing human not named Micah Parsons or that wasn't a linebacker would have been a solid pick for that team. They didn't need a linebacker.
I also thought that Parsons was a good pick. It was just
Parsons was a great pick.
I say he was definitely the highest graded defensive player. He just had the character issues, and he was a top 3 player in the draft probably. So
100%. Dallas didn't need a linebacker. That's the only thing I'm getting at. It's like they didn't need a linebacker.
yeah,
I mean,
like-
they did, but like not as much as others.
I mean, they didn't need a wide receiver when they drafted CeeDee Lamb either. Like that's what good teams do. You take the best player available.
Josh, CeeDee Lamb was compared to Jerry fucking Rice. You could have Randy Moss, Jerry Rice.
Where's CeeDee Lamb to Jerry Rice? I didn't see
player
that.
profiler.
Player
That's his
profiler.
comp.
Jerry Rice.
That's terrible.
Player profiler's
Not-
comp for CeeDee Lamb is
Not
Jerry Rice,
terrible.
yeah.
CeeDee Lamb is God.
Dude, I love CeeDee Lamb. I just think that you should not compare any human being to Jerry Rice.
Don't disagree.
Agreed.
Did you hear Jerry Rice say if he played in today's NFL, his stats would double?
Yeah.
He would
Yeah,
have
when
he would
corners
have
couldn't touch him.
he'd have 43,000 receiving yards on his
Looking
career.
back on Jerry Rice's stats every once in a while, when I made the fantasy Jeopardy questions every week, I would always look at wide receiver stats of all time. I was like, dude, was Jerry Rice just like a god or something? Like I was not alive when Jerry Rice was
The
playing.
one thing about Jerry Rice is not only did he have the talent, he was willing to work harder than everybody else. His
Yeah.
workouts
He also had
were
the
legendary.
longevity, which would not last
Yeah.
nowadays. That's also the problem too.
He also had 2 of the greatest quarterbacks,
Well, that's fair.
which
I
helped
mean,
him.
yeah, a little bit of luck.
Yeah, but he was doing it with mediocre quarterbacks too. I mean, Rich Gannon
sure.
wasn't like.
I mean, the thing is, Joe, if you look at, there's other wide receivers who have had fantastic quarterbacks for their entire career, but he is so far and away like the greatest wide
he's
receiver of all
ridiculous.
time. It's nuts.
He's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, back
Also-
to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Just real quick, Lucas, add to your fantasy Jeopardy, which is awesome.
Okay.
You should add who's the only quarterback to
I
throw
knew
an
it.
interception in 4 different countries.
Who is it? Is it Ben Roethlisberger?
EJ Manuel.
Oh.
EJ Manuel. He threw it in Canada, America, Mexico, and England.
That's actually a fantastic stat. Next time I do,
Yeah.
I'll make that the QB's for 5.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fun fact, he's only played 1 game in Canada, 1 game in Mexico, 1 game in England. That's all he
Interception.
needed,
Well,
though.
my
Throw an
favorite
interception.
QB stat of all time is that if Nathan Peterman would have had a better quarterback ratio. QB. He would have had a better QBR if he would have
threw the
spiked
ball
the
into
ball
the
into the ground every single snap.
So Joe loves that too. So.
That is insane. He could have thrown it at the ground every play.
Yes.
And
what you don't even realize, Luke, is Joe has never told the EJ Manuel stat without leading into the Nathan Peterman stat. So you have done it for him in this show.
Every time.
Do it.
Also, I put Nathan Peterman on my list of 73 quarterbacks I'd rather have start over Cam Newton, and I strictly said, I know I'm going to lose with either quarterback. I just want to laugh at Nathan Peterman while it happens.
Hey, you know what? That's fair, man.
I think it's a fair assessment.
Hey, John Gruden loves him some Nathan Peterman. So.
Oh my God, absolutely awful quarterback.
Yes,
All right,
he does.
Upside, Ryan and Josh, you have Juju Smith-Schuster. Damn, that hurts.
Don't love that.
All ADP.
All
Yeah.
ADP.
Downside, Ryan, you have Najee Harris. Josh, you have Eric Ebron. Trust fall, you both have Deontay Johnson. Ricky to watch, you both have Najee Harris. My sleeper, if Eric Ebron forgets where his hands are, which happens very often, Pat Freiermuth might have a couple good games. And my IDP, I actually do like the individual spots on this defense. I believe I highlighted Minkah Fitzpatrick last year, so I didn't want to highlight him again this year. The obvious one is TJ Watt. Obviously not going to do that. Devin Bush is good too, but Stephon Tuitt, no one talks about ever. No one ever.
Underrated.
Very underrated. He's only 28 too. I feel like he's been in the league forever. He's only 28 years old. So still in the prime of his career. Very good at everything. He doesn't really excel at one thing. He's just really well-rounded. Yeah. Probably gets you 5 or 6 sacks, but will rake in the tackles as well in the run stop. And he's been known to drop into pass coverage every once in a while and bat a few passes down. So if you have passes defense stat, he may get 1 or 2 of those throughout the season. So again, those are like little throw-in specials that you sometimes get.
Kind of reminds you of Cam Hayward, right?
I want to throw
very similar trajectory.
Yeah.
Yes, but Cam Hayward is like 50 pounds heavier and about much bigger.
But the point I'm getting at is like he's a defensive end that's trapped in the 3-4 that doesn't get the type of recognition that normal defensive ends do.
They're both very similar feeling players. They both can do it. They both can do it all really well. But they don't really like truly excel at anything like crazy well. Tuitt's more of a run guy, and Hayward's more of a pass rusher. But they're both very balanced, all very well rounded 3-4 ends.
I want to throw one more quick IDP thing out just because I had to do the research this week because I drafted him. TJ Watt, if you are playing in a league with this, it's taking over the world right now. The IDP 1, 2, 3 scoring, and he has defensive line eligibility. TJ Watt is like Travis Kelce in defensive line, and he is he's worth reaching for, to where I've been landing him routinely in the 5th round of the mocks I was doing, and I just landed him in the 5th round. He's going to score 90 to 100 points more than the next defensive lineman in that same scoring. So if you compare him with Travis Kelce, you're going to make the playoffs. But if you miss on Travis Kelce, TJ Watt offers that same thing on defense. So
that's nasty.
It'd be like giving Travis Kelce tight end eligibility if he was a wide receiver.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. So.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Watt is gross. Yeah, no, definitely. And
Rob, defensive player of the year 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and it's mostly too if it's a sack heavy league. Don't take TJ Watt.
I say it's very specific scoring. Now TJ Watt is still going to be a solid defensive lineman, but he doesn't provide that upside. This IDP 1, 2, 3, and then here's another thing I've learned: if you're running your app on your league on Sleeper does not count in the projections, and we shouldn't be leaning on projections anyway. But in the projections, Sleeper does not count QB hits, passes defended, or one other thing I can't think of right now that are all counted in the IDP 1 through tackles for loss. So it looks like TJ Watt is only going to score 210 points, the same as every other defensive end. TJ Watt hit the quarterback 42 times last year, 35 times the year before that. Most defensive linemen don't get that stat above 20. That's a huge bump in scoring right there. So,
yeah, TJ Watt will be gross this year. Yep. All right, Luke, your 2 players. Eric Ebron, Chase Claypool. Take it away.
Players to watch, yes. So Eric Ebron, with the addition of Pat Freiermuth, it's just going to be seeing the relationship between the two there. I do think that it's going to be Eric Ebron this season. Ebron's contract is up this offseason, and he's probably going to hit the door. And Pat Freiermuth is going to be the tight end of the future. Hopefully, if he's good, he better be good. And then Chase Claypool, I try to stay as non-biased as possible in my takes in every way possible, but Chase Claypool seriously showed like superstar level potential to me last season when I watched him on the field as an NFL player. I just think that he is a touchdown machine. He's extremely athletic. He's a lot better of a route runner than I thought he was going to be. He was getting like Evan Ingram comps coming out. Like some people thought he was going to convert to a tight end. He's not that way at all. He's very much a wide receiver. I think he's just a dominant outside wide receiver. Last season, a lot of people don't know this. The reason he tapered off in the middle of the year was because the Steelers' moronic offensive coordinator last season, Randy Fichtner, really believes in the rookie wall. So he decided to really decrease his snap percentages halfway through the season. And then, towards the last couple of games of the year, they brought it back up again, and he was fantastic. It's all about when they needed a play last year, when Deontay Johnson and Eric Ebron had the major case of the drop skis, they went to Chase Claypool, and it worked. I mean, they were losing games towards the end, so obviously it was a little bit more messy. But I think that Claypool, of the 3 wide receivers this season, has the biggest chance to have a true breakout. The highest percentage chance, I'd say, of the guys to like crack like a top 12 finish, I think it's Claypool if everything goes the right way for him. I think Deontay is the target guy and Claypool is the touchdown guy for the offense. I think it's a bit of an off-brand Mike Evans, Chris Godwin kind of situation for fantasy. And well, obviously the Juju's there, which kind of makes things weird. But I think that Claypool could have a lot of things go his way this season. That's all I'm saying. Going back into your guys' picks here, upside at ADP, I think Juju's a great pick. Upside in general, I think Claypool's the man this year for like swing for the fences upside. But I think
isn't Claypool going ahead of Juju?
Yeah, 20.
Yes,
I mean, it's not much.
Yeah, I'm not
like that. I mean, that was my point with Juju. Like,
yeah,
I don't have them very different in terms of like my projections. I have all 3 of them over 100 targets, and I have I just have Claypool with less receptions because his catch percentage is lower.
For sure.
It's
like
the touchdowns
that was really my
terrify.
biggest thing.
I say it was the touchdowns that terrify me. He scored 11 touchdowns on 72 touches last year, which is insane.
Yeah, but look at when he scored those touchdowns. A lot of them came really early in those packages where they were using him as a tight end.
Yeah, and that's why I hate it, because Claypool's going to take all the touchdowns. The 2 weeks where I called Ebron as my stream of the week at tight end were Claypool's 2 big touchdown weeks. So
interesting. That's funny.
And one of them was against the Philadelphia Eagles for 4
exactly.
of those 11 touchdowns.
We could not cover tight ends to save our lives last year.
Yeah, it should have been 5, wasn't it? There was a PI call or whatever. Yeah,
it should have been 5.
Claypool has the biggest breakout chance, but I do agree that at his ADP, Juju is an absolute steal.
Yeah, we went too far on Juju. I think first of all, there was a tweet out today, and shit, Luke, it could have been one of your tweets. I didn't see which account tweeted it, that if we went too far on the Big Ben hate, and I don't think that we have. I mean, he is going off at low 20s quarterback, but last year he was barely a top 15 quarterback while supporting these 3 wide receivers. He's got to prove it before you're drafting the guy.
So everybody talks about Bridgewater. Like, oh, he supported 3 top 25 guys and he was completely average, like wasn't even a top 15 guy. So like it's still possible to not be a top 15 quarterback and support 3 top 25 wide receivers.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing. I think that Ben will produce enough. I mean, watching him all last season, I think Ben had a good year until the very end, which was just weird. I really think that the new offense will do a lot of good for this team, because here's what happened. I tell everyone this story every single time I talk about the Steelers on any show. Everyone knows this happened. So the entire year, they kind of ran the same offense, the same kind of scheme, the same concept, dink and dunk down the field. They ran a lot of the same play designs. They were dead last in the NFL in play action. They were dead last in the NFL in motion pre-snap. So it was very, very bland and generic. The deep ball was not clicking very well. They played the Washington football team late in the season. They barely came out. Sorry, they played the Baltimore Ravens deep in the season last year. They barely came out with a win. Yeah, they did. They lost. They played the Baltimore Ravens. They barely beat them. The next week, they played the Washington football team, and they lost. After the game, Chase Young said to reporters that the Baltimore Ravens exposed the Steelers' offense. And then from that point out, every single game after that, they struggled on offense because the defense they went up against figured out their offense. And after that, they just didn't change it. They were calling
Have you seen the TikTok video of the it was a fan where if you look at Roethlisberger's feet, you can tell pre-snap if it's a run or a pass. Like I didn't see that. Yeah, he gets on his right tiptoe.
His right foot is up if it's a pass.
If it's a pass, because he's getting ready to fall back. And I'm wondering if that's not a product of years of injuries and shit because as someone who has knee problems, there are things where I have to preset my leg to get ready to do. And I'm wondering if Roethlisberger's in a similar-esque situation. Now, can he fix it? I would imagine, but it'll be interesting to see.
Well, now that it's been brought to his attention, it would make sense to work around those issues. But
I also really just think that the addition of Najee Harris cannot be understated for the Steelers. And the offensive line is getting a lot of questions for the Steelers, and I think it's going to be an issue. I don't think they're going to be great, but I seriously cannot think they can do worse than last season. I watched every single snap of every single game of that team. Their run blocking was – I probably could have done just as good a job as their right guard every once in a while. I'm not joking. They were terrible. They couldn't run the ball on 3rd and inches. We are 1st and goal. We pounded the ball up the middle, 3 runs in a row, couldn't get in. That happened so many times. They had the worst short yardage game in the NFL. I just don't think it can get worse. It was such a strange phenomenon with their offensive line last year because they were top 5 or even top 3 in pass block rating, but they were dead last in run. I just think the age of the offensive line had to do a huge part with how inefficient they were on the grounds. And getting a guy like Zach Banner back, who's this giant meat of a man at right tackle, I think he's going to be good for the running game. And they just have a bunch of young dudes. And I just think that the young dudes, even though they're new as a unit, can't do much worse as a run blocking squad. And I really think that Najee is going to just really help.
I was going to say run blocking tends to come first. It's the pass blocking where you have to worry about the young players because there's so many things to worry about. But if you know where you're trying to run and you can push a dude around, you could probably be a pretty good run blocker. So.
Absolutely. All right, so we get a few things to fly through here before we got to let Luke go. First thing is a question from Samuel, and then the last thing we'll get to is something on Chase Claypool. Sam said he traded Montgomery for Mark Andrews because he needed a tight end and was stacked on running back. It is a PPR. His other running backs are Cam Akers, Austin Eckler, and Jonathan Taylor.
Is this a dynasty, I guess is my question, or is this an
that
early
would be my guess,
type league? Okay.
So
that's a great trade in my opinion. He has 3 very, very good running backs. I think this is
you're trading a strength for a weakness. I don't hate that at all, especially when you have the depth.
First of all, great job building your running back roster because that's exactly what you want. Because if you look at where those guys came out, Eckler blew up 3 years ago, and then 2 years ago was Montgomery coming into the league. A year ago, Jonathan Taylor.
Sorry, just real quick.
Oh, it is redraft. Okay, how many are you keeping, or is this draft already happened and you're just trading before the season?
All I know is. How the fuck did you get those 4 running backs in redraft?
Yeah. What's the ADP there? You'd had to go Taylor in the 1.
Taylor.
Maybe. I mean, Akers it could very well be a situation. We all talk about how Akers' ADP has skyrocketed. It could very well be just.
He drafted early enough.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean.
Well, because you would have had to go Taylor 1. Oh, he's already done other trades. Now I get it.
There you go. Before okay, so there it goes. It's interesting. But yeah, no, you That's a good trade.
I don't hate that trade at all.
No.
I think there's definitely some risk with Akers because there's so much unknown there. I love Taylor. I love the upside of Eckler, and I think Akers.
I'm gonna play 100% contrarian in a 10-man league. I would rather have Montgomery. There's tight ends out there you can build in a 10-man league that can equal Mark Andrews. So I'm gonna
stop being a hater, Ryan. God,
it's a great trade. I'm not a complete Mark Andrews hater, but in a 10-man league. I hold on to running back depth for my life to make sure nobody else gets it.
You're right. I think I disagree with your disagreement because I think that if it's a typical one flex league, you're going to be starting every week. You're going to have 2 stud running backs and then a stud flex. And then if you really have a consistent tight end with Andrews, I think it's fair. I don't know.
I would rather, first of all, I barely consider Andrews a consistent tight end, but here's the one thing that nobody looks at in that is, if you have Montgomery rotting on your bench, he's not starting for another team that week. So
That's true. He said Akers went middle of the 3rd round, 305 in his draft. All right, the last thing I want to get to in the last 6 minutes here.
Yep.
Would you rather with Chase Claypool? Because
fun.
Because this one's interesting. So this is wide receiver 3. Because Chase Claypool is going wide receiver 28. So this is who do you want as your wide receiver 3? Let's presume this guy is starting in your flex spot every week. This is
most standard leagues too. You're starting 3 wide receivers
anymore.
Also.
Yeah.
So let's you are starting this guy every week in theory. At wide receiver 28, Chase Claypool. Wide receiver 26, Jamar Chase or Chase Claypool? Luke.
Chase by far.
Josh.
Yeah, I would go Chase.
Ryan.
I would also go Chase, but I'm just wait. Hold on. I would go Jamar Chase. Is that who you're saying as well,
Yes.
Luke?
Yeah, you said Jamar. Yeah.
It's just shocking to me how quickly you answered that because I thought Claypool with your loving him would have been.
Oh.
But anyway, go ahead.
I love Claypool, but I also love Jamar, and I take the rookie upside my wide receiver.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. 28 is Claypool. 27, Odell Beckham Jr. or Chase Claypool? Luke.
Claypool by far. OBJ is off my board this season.
Josh.
I have OBJ ranked higher.
Ryan.
I am chasing the dragon on OBJ, but I do have Claypool ranked higher.
I would pass in this situation, but for the sake of the game,
The
Chase
injury risk of
Claypool.
OBJ just petrifies me, and I'm just going to pass.
It's not even the injury risk; it's the fact that he sucks in that offense. That's
Yeah.
the whole.
Yeah, he really has not been good.
He could play
at all.
16 games and not even be a top 30 wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
And he's like,
keep it rolling. I don't even know. OBJ sucks. That's all I say.
yeah, it's tough. All right, Chase Claypool's 28, 29. T. Higgins or Chase Claypool? Luke.
Ooh, that one's tough for me. A wide receiver 3. I'm gonna go. Oh, man, that's hard. I'm gonna go Higgins just because I feel like he'll have more weekly consistency.
Josh.
I have Higgins above Chase, so like as in Jamar Chase. So give me T. Higgins.
Ooh,
Ryan.
So I actually have Higgins one spot ahead, but because I know I am projecting Claypool at his floor and Higgins probably at his ceiling, I would go with Claypool. So
interesting. I like it.
T. Higgins.
I want all the T. Higgins this year. Give me
T.
all
Higgins.
the T. Higgins.
To the moon.
It's Jamar Chase season, baby.
Higgins is on my SFB team, so I'm all about Higgins this year.
So he's terrible. That's
I love my Scott Fishbowl team. I'm gonna flex my Scott Fishbowl team here in a minute because I love my Scott Fishbowl team.
All right.
It's really
And then wide receiver 30. Would you rather Chase Claypool or Cortland Sutton? Luke.
Ooh, Sutton smash.
Josh.
Same Sutton.
Ryan.
I hate Cortland Sutton, Chase Claypool.
Oh,
Oh.
get off my show!
Well,
Ryan, how?
for the record,
Overhyped completely, but
for the record,
No.
Cortland Sutton. And I wanted to play that game to specifically point out 3 of the 4 names listed of the smart people on this show said that they would rather all those names over Chase Claypool.
Interesting.
I'm just saying, like, where Claypool's going, not a good spot. But if you go a little further down to guys like DJ Chark, Robbie Anderson, Brandon Cooks, you could convince me at that point.
Well, saying he belongs
Yeah, I agree.
pretty firmly above those guys. It's almost like there's a tier break right there, and Claypool is the tier break. So
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but again, like those guys like Anderson, Cooks, Chark, they're going 2.5 rounds or 2 rounds later than Chase Claypool. So
Yeah, you would definitely have me thinking if I was looking at those 3 guys on the board, I'd be like, who do I want to go with?
yeah.
That would really be
Yeah.
all right, Luke, flex your team real quick.
Flex my team, Scott Fishbowl. Here we go. I got at quarterback. I have Mahomes and Brady and Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. So I'm locking up Denver as well for QB3.
I have Lock too. I got him as my QB4.
What? Nice. Here's your QB3.
Watson.
Interesting. I don't think he's gonna play this year, personally.
Yeah.
So Lock is my QB3 then. Cool.
Yeah, I like it.
LFG Lock.
At running back, I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, J.K. Dobbins, Josh Jacobs, and James Conner. At wide receiver, I have Jamar Chase, Chase Claypool, Corey Davis, Mike Evans, Deontay Johnson, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, Deontay.
I gotta say, it's bold of you to go the 0 RB route with your team right there.
Oh yeah, I stacked heavy on quarterback and running back early. I went Mahomes, then Brady, then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, then Dobbins, and then I went Jacobs and Evans, and then I pounded some wide receivers in a row. And then at tight end, I waited on tight end for a little while. I love this guy at value this year. I think he's going to get a lot of targets for how much they paid him. Jonnu Smith, and I also took a flyer late on Jack Doyle.
A tight end 1, baby.
I say, yeah, you are you're in the right company for Jonnu Smith. Love
Jonnu. So. They paid him so much money. Anyway, and then at kickers, I got Younghoe Koo and Ryan Suckup.
Oh, Josh has Young Wei Koo as well. 110.
Do we want to let Luke do his own quick outro, let him go, and then we can do our own
Luke,
outro?
you have your 30-second elevator pitch. Go.
Woo! Okay. Follow me on Twitter. I do literally everything. I post microwave nacho pictures and give my analysis on movie theater ice cream takes that end up me getting verified half an hour later. Also, yeah, I'm verified. If that matters to you, if you're a shallow person, come follow me. Anyway, I have my own new podcast that is fun. It's not as fun as this one, but I have sound effects. So that's interesting.
Oh, come on.
Come over and check me out. It's at Hooked on Fantasy. It's actually not on Twitter. I don't know why I said at, but the podcast name is Hooked on Fantasy. So follow me there. Goodbye.
Wow. Nailed it. Just in time.
Go to your next thing. Thank you
Love
so
you,
much.
buddy, man.
Yep.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you for coming on the show, Luke. We'll see you later. All right. That is...
Bye, Ryan. Bye, Joe.
Bye. That is Luke Sawhook, the host of the Hooked on Fantasy podcast. He does Fantasy Jeopardy. He does everything. So big thank you to Luke for coming on this week.
That's a hustler, man.
He is. And just real quick to answer Samuel's question, Josh, I know you answered it saying you love them both. We all love A-Rob and McLaurin. Just with Terry McLaurin, his ADP is kind of high for.
Well, at this point, they're both. I would assume they're on his team.
Yeah, if you have them, you've done great.
Oh, then you're fine.
Allen Robinson is a wide receiver 1. Terry McLaurin is at worst a wide receiver 2. You've done what you're supposed to do. So
very good. And Luke even has Terry McLaurin as wide receiver 6. So just to give you Luke's thoughts on team.
Again, do not hate McLaurin, hate the ADP, don't know what you paid for him, but Allen Robinson and Terry McLaurin are a good group. So
yeah. All right. So next week we will be talking the Los Angeles Rams, the Cleveland Browns, and Baltimore Ravens. Damn, it's going to be a lot harder to crap on. Well, the Ravens are easy to crap on, but a lot harder to shit on these teams. We also have 3 more shows before our Women Fantasy Football begins next week, including one of those 3. The guests will be announced here in the coming weeks, and trust me, people, you do not want to...
some fire guests! I'm so freaking excited.
Yes, you do not want to miss that. And also, if you missed any of the team previews as well, they're also in written form on the website, clubfantasyffl.com.
Shout out really quick to Chris Molina for his Titans article and to
his first article of preseason.
Yep, and to our fill-in co-host over this offseason. Hutch wrote about today's Seattle Seahawks. So kudos to both of them. Both of the articles are great. Head over to clubfantasyffl.com and check both of them out.
All right, and I have been told to kick it over to Mustache Man to talk about guests next week.
Well, we're talking the Browns next week, and we're already leading into our Women of Fantasy show. So I follow a group on Twitter called Girl Gang CLE. Collectively, it is Brittany, Brianna, and Meredith, 3 ladies who know the Browns and know football. So we are going to have them on the show next week to pre-kickoff Women of Fantasy Football while we talk the Browns. So
love it.
Girl Gang CLE.
I assume it's Girl Gang Cleveland. That would be my guess.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you. Thank you.
Captain Obvious at your service.
Right over my fucking head with that one. Thank you, Josh. Jeez. You know, everyone, I'm glad we have Josh in the show to point out the fucking obvious. My God. Okay, so
and if you think our normal shows are chaos, if all goes well, there will be 6 of us on this show next week. Fucking bananas.
So I gotta behave next week if there's. Well, actually, I'm basically playing like train conductor at that point.
You are
6 people on the show.
Yep.
Oh boy. Well,
you handled our draft coverage with 10 people on board. You'll be fine, Joe.
I'll be coming back from the All-Star game in Mankato that day, so I may just be sliding right under the gun for
Where
showtime.
Is Mankato?
8 hours from me.
Okay.
Jesus.
In Minnesota.
Do I need to call Luke or Hutch to host?
Maybe have him on standby.
Might not be the worst idea.
Maybe have him on standby. But I'm probably leaving Mankato like 7 a.m. on Wednesday, so I should be back in time if all goes well. I drive 95 on the highway, so if any cops are listening that are gonna be in between Bismarck and Mankato during July 19th,
we got a show to do. Damn it!
Yeah,
you heard nothing. If you're a fan, I'll sign something for you. I'll be on my way. That's fine.
That's right.
Yeah, all those big fans that are looking for the Joe Zolo signature out
Cops
there.
don't pull me over because I have a mustache. They assume I'm one of them.
It's also because you're carrying donuts, is my assumption as well. Or?
I literally do not know the last time I had a donut, you dick.
Damn, that was rough.
I want a donut so bad now.
I love donuts. We have a donut. We have a bakery sponsor. So
the show needs a bakery sponsor. Donuts on demand.
I'll gain back the weight if we get a donut sponsor. So
I will not.
I will not. The water cancels out the donuts.
I love it. Well, if I knew that, I'd be eating donuts for the last 3 months. But
all right. One more time to wrap up. Next week's show with Girl Gang CLE. In case you didn't know, CLE stands for Cleveland.
They are Browns fans.
Yes, stands for CLE, stands for Cleveland. They'll be joining us to talk the Cleveland Browns, Los Angeles Rams, and the Baltimore Ravens. If we're lucky, we get all three of them on, which is going to be awesome. Yep. Women of Fantasy Football starts in 3 weeks. We have a crap ton of raffle items, crap ton of awesome guests, all hosted by Lauren Carpenter and Faith, who are going to be awesome this year. We're very excited. Be sure to check out Club Fantasy FFL for all the Look Inside team previews, and you can follow Club Fantasy on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. Always remember, defense wins championships, offense wins fantasy football. Join us same time, same place next week, whether you be on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, or Twitch. We love you all, and we will see you